Axe and Allies, no limit here. Hey, how you doing? Don't answer that. It's time for part 2 of my series of Axe and Allies, No Limits Expansion Enhanced Global 1940 House Rules for YouTube board. Yay! And I finished part 1 already. In fact, I have about two other videos concerning my expansion rules. The first video introducing me to the house rules I'm proposing, and also part 1. So you can look at those 2 other videos on my channel under my playlist. It's under customizations, variants, and such. So you can look under those. And in the very first video, it even describes in the comment section of all the proposed changes I have for my enhanced expansion game for this game. And before we go into part 2, let's go over questions I got from part 1 of this of my video concerning this. I got it from a question from Raiderbuilt. Even though I got the notification, it didn't show up in the comment section, but I'm going to answer his questions there anyways concerning it. Let's see. He had questions about about the heavy tanks. He says that since there's 3 different tanks in this game now, in my version, there's really no need to build improved tanks. But no. In my rules, I guess he has a point there, but in my rules is that all the major nations can build 1 heavy tank each round. So they can't build as much as they can afford. And it must be placed in a factor of 3 territory value of 3 or more. So I built 1 in Japan for my part 1 series. And so that's also actually only 2 different kinds of tanks if you went to after the technology of improved tanks that I changed in the text. I put in heavy tanks. You can go for heavy tank. I mean, not heavy tanks. Go for improved tanks, where all your tanks will attack at a 4 instead of a 3. So that's a tech. My improved tank. I don't call them heavy tanks because I already have heavy tanks you can build once each round. And in my heavy tanks, you can see you put a marker under your tank like this, or you can use a customized to scale for this game, so it's not too big. Like you don't want a tank this big, heavy tank this big to show on your map. So get any customization of a tank to scale to this game like I did for this. And what this heavy tank does, if you haven't seen my last 2 videos, what it does is that attacks at a 4, defends at a 4, it moves too, but it cannot blitz because it's a heavy tank, so it's slower and more tonnage to it. That's my reasoning behind that. And what else? It also can take 2 damages. Yes, 2 damages like a carrier. But you can repair it next turn, not at a factor, but in any territory where the heavy tank was damaged at. So you don't have to travel to a factor to repair it. You can repair it for free in any territory next round for the heavy tank. So that's why I propose. Right? Like I say, you can build 1 for each round for any of the major nations. Like let's see, what's his face? Italy can't build it, and also like Italy's not a major nation. They can't build it because they're a relatively poor nation, military-wise. So only the major nation can do it. Also, another question he asks is, he questions my straits. I have 2 new straits, at least in the Pacific 40 of my house rules. San Bernardino Straits and Malacca Straits, controlled by Malaya. San Bernardino evidently is controlled by the Philippines. reason I have that is because in the war, there's many. I think I'm not sure how many little islands there in the Philippines, but there's many. I hear it's over 100. I could be wrong, but there's many little islands in the Philippines, and so that makes it a strait. So it should make the enemy vessels have to pay at least spend one more movement, not to enter, but to leave the straits. If they don't, them or their allies don't control the Philippines at the beginning of the turn. So, like I couldn't, I had a carrier, this carrier here in Carolines. I couldn't go like to 1, 2, and 3 because to leave it would cost one more extra unit, one more extra movement to leave the Philippines. So I just went like this off my sea base 1, 2, 3. I moved it there instead. It's over here. So that's my reason concerning the San Bernardino Straits. Now for the Malacca Straits, controlled by Malaya, that was a strait in the real war. And the reason why I did that is because it's too easy for Japan to attack India that way. I mean, if they were right here, well, let's say they had a naval base here, they could go 1, 2, 3 easily, or even go 1, 2 if they wanted to, over the 38 or the 39 sea zone. I think that's ridiculous. I mean, the G40 game is Axis favorite as enough as it is, so I wanted to peg down the axis a little bit. So I made the Malacca Straits, so Japan would have to spend an extra movement to leave the Malacca Straits. So let's say this battleship with no naval base, of course, here as an example, they can't go like this 1, 2 along with the rest of the ships going in there as well. They have to go 1 and stay there because it would cost them extra movement to leave the Malacca Straits, which would be 3 movements, so they can't do it. They only have 2 little movements. Well, let's see if they have let's say they have a naval base here. They can go 1, 2 extra movement to leave the Malacca Straits. If there's no marker, if there's no blockers, of course. Let's just say that battleship's not there. And 3, they can make it to 38, but they can't make it to 39, 1, 2, 3, because the Malacca Straits prevents them to go all the way to just 39 off of Calcutta. So that's my reason behind that. So I just wanted to peg down the Japanese one down to make it a little harder for them to attack India. So that's my reasoning concerning the Malacca Straits. And of course, Britain owns the Malacca Straits by Malaya. Of course, if the Japanese took over Malaya, they would have the benefits of that straits. It would go against the Allies. Same thing with the San Bernardino, if the Japanese owned the Philippines. So that's my reasoning behind those. Let's see what else. He also questioned about the bombing straits I have for the dive bombers, or tactical bombers, if you will. But I like to call them dive bombers. And he said that it won't be used much in this game. Well, that's true. That is very true. But I see other versions of these tactical or dive bombers, as I call them, how they can take out a unit. It's let's see, how do they call that? Target select. I don't like target select, to tell you the truth, where you can take out a unit, and then that unit that's hit doesn't fire back at all. I never like that. I mean, defenders should be able to hit, with the exception against submarines, of course. Submarines should sink a whole ship, and the ship shouldn't be able to fire back. But concerning units, I don't like that. I mean, I don't know. Let's say infantry. It's not really one infantry. It's more abstract in this game, of course. I forget what infantry. One infantry represents. I don't know if it represents a regiment, a company, or whatever, but it represents more than one troop, of course. And I think it's ridiculous to wipe up a whole troop because of a dive bomber target select, a whole regiment or company or whatever a unit represents. So I always thought that was ridiculous. I don't like that. I mean, if it was in like let's say the BBR game, which is a limited game because it only goes 10 rounds anyway, so I can understand that. But a full blown scale game, I don't like that. So there's nothing against Cyberbugs and the way he uses, but in my version, this is a full blown out version where it's going to be unlimited rounds until its completion. That's why I have the die bar strafing for one round of battle. And you can see, if you see part 1 of my series, how I used it for my die bombers. And let's see, the way also I verify a couple of things for Japan concerning kamikazes. Yes, kamikazes. I think it's ridiculous for the comic. Of course, we know Japan starts out with 6. I think it's ridiculous. They can start out using their kamikazes in any round that it's qualified for. I always thought that was ridiculous. I mean, the kamikazes were a desperation tactic anyways. So I'm just going to limit the use of kamikazes in my version. You can't use it until at least the 5th round. So the first 4 rounds, you can't use kamikazes. No. So I think it's ridiculous. I mean, it's a desperation tactic, strategy. And so the game should reflect that. I mean, you can't it'd be ridiculous to use it in the first round of the game. So I'm proposing using kamikaze for the Japanese and at the very least the 5th round. So that's what I'm proposing for that. Let's see what else. Victory conditions for Japan too. I made just a little bit harder. I just tweaked a little bit. Japanese can only will have to capture 7 victory cities instead of 6 in the Pacific, of course, to make it harder for Japanese. And I made Szechuan, or Chongqing, if you will, the new capital of China. Szechuan, I made that as a victory city. So this is one victory objective that the Japanese have to go for to make it a little harder for them. We'll see how that goes. So Szechuan is also a VC or a victory city as well. And what else? Also, okay, the bombers limited drop. The way I used them, you saw part 1 of my series. I put I took 4 of my 2 bombers from Japan into Kwang Sea, because the Chinese, which they went first in my version, they took over Kwang Sea, and so the Japanese took 4 paratroopers into Kwang Sea, but it has to match the units already attacking into that territory, which I have more than enough. And almost 10 other units coming in as well in the Kwang Sea. So the bomber paratroopers, they will have to equal the units already coming into a territory they're attacking. No more than equal. Less if you want to, but no more than equal. Like Cyberblug has it in his version. That's why I like it. And let me see. Also, you have to pay for your paratroopers as well. And there's also, if there's a second paratrooper in the bomber, it limits his flight range by 1 if you saw part 1 of my series. Or if you want, go to my first video, list all the changes in my comment section of all the units and the changes I'm proposing in this game to enhance the game for a better experience in the Global 40 game, which I always liked. I hope it works out because we're going to do this over the summer. Right now, this is just a tutorial. It's not really a solo game. It's just a tutorial introductory of how I'm proposing of the units changes and also various other rule changes I'm having in this to enhance the game, Global 40. We'll try not to ruin the game, so because there's so many other proposed changes I like to have in this game, but that would just ruin the game So I'm just I don't know how many changes I have. I think at least 20. But they're relatively simple once you get used to them. Over the summer we're gonna have a full-blown game concerning my proposed changes, and that's gonna be a whole lot of fun. We got about 5 or 6 lined up for that one. That's gonna be great fun. And so let's go also the techs in this game. If you do get a tech, you can't activate it until the 4th round. Sort of like the BBR game where Cyberbugs has it. I mean, you can't, the first 3 rounds you shouldn't be able to have a tech if you get it. That'd be a little unfair. It'd be a little ridiculous. So 1942, which is round 4 of the 1940 game, is when you can activate your techs if you should happen to get it before the 4th round. You can't activate beforehand, but you can go for it. Try to get it. That's what my Japanese guys did. I'm using the token system from Anniversary, tweaking it a little bit, because as you know, in this game, the G40 game, it's almost impossible to get techs. So and Cyberblood did a good job with his, I admit, but I like to add in the Anniversary edition of tokens. That's why I'm tweaking it a little bit. If you saw any of my rules proposal change or part 1 of my series here, you'll see what I'm talking about. Yeah, so let's go for in part 1 I stopped with Japan's because the video is going over a half hour. I'm already half there, 16 minutes. So I'm gonna go for so it's after Japan. So it's be the UK or the the Far East Command, where India and the Aztecs are together as one turn. They go after Italy, of course, but this is a Pacific setup, and so they take their turn together. But if Japan doesn't declare an unprovoked attack on the Far East Command, India and Australia have to have separate economies. The reason why I did that because I think you don't want the Far East Command to be too strong against the Japanese. Start building everything out of India instead of Australia. So that's why I have it. 2 separate economies before Japan declares unprovoked war. So the Far East Command just can't activate an unprovoked war against the Japanese themselves and expect to have combined economy get together. It'll still be separate if the Far East Command proposes an unprovoked war on Japan. So it's a no-no. So you can't. Far East Command can't do. They have to wait for either for the Japanese to declare unprovoked warfare against the Western powers, or after the U.S. enters the war. Then the Far East Command can combine their India and Australia economy together, with one exception. Australia has to spend 5 or save 5 IPCs afterwards when they combine their economies together. So they still have to build out Australia in that scenario. But in my Far East Command, I'm not going to declare war. That'd be stupid. So I'm just going to so they still have, they take their turn together. They still have a separate economy of India and Australia. So, as you know, Australia has 10 IPCs to spend in the first round, and with the Far East Command, 16 IPCs, I do believe. So they have to spend or save each round before Japan declares unprovoked warfare. And they can't save it until then either. It has to be a separate economy, so that's a no-no as well. So Far East Command is going to build their 69 IPCs. They're going to build a bomber and a mech. So I believe there's 16 altogether. And Australia, or the Anzacs, what they're going to do, they're going to buy a token, anniversary token, going for tech. And they're going to upgrade their cruiser. And that's going to show you how that works. To upgrade a cruiser would cost you 5 IPCs. And what that does is it upgrades it to a heavy cruiser. And what a heavy cruiser does is it becomes a capital ship. It can take 1 damage. It gets an AA, 1 shot of an AA gun as well. So that's my, and of course it has to be off a factory of at least, it's worth 3, territory value of at least 3 to be upgraded. Also with territories that there are 3 or more of a factory, they can also build capital warships. So, like if it was World 2, you have factory in Queensland, which is World 2. You couldn't upgrade a cruiser or build any capital warships off that coast. It has to be off a factory of territory value of 3. And in my version, sort of like in BVR version, I upgraded New South Wales to a 3 of territory value, and I'm taking off 1 off of Victoria, so that's 0 for Victoria. Victoria! I love that Kink song. So let's do, like I said, I'm not gonna be declaring war for my Far East Command, so since I bought tech for the Anzac part of the Far East Command, I'm gonna go for it. Of course, that'll be, of course, a roll of 6. Let's see if I get it. Probably not. Well, that's a 2. So if you saw my Japanese, part 1 of my Japanese, when they went after tech, they missed as well. But for the next round, when they go for it again, it'll be a 5 or a 6 instead of a 6 to make it easier to get techs. So it'll be 5 and a 6 for next round when the Anzacs go for techs. And of course, if the Anzacs do go, the Anzacs, of course, they would share any tech that they awarded with India, and also with the British Europe as well. So the Far East Command or the British Europe should happen to get a tech they could share with each other instantly. Since they are allies, why not? And so I'm going 24 minutes. I better speed this up a little bit. So what the Far East Command of the mainland Asia is going to do, they're going to, let's see what they're going to do. They're going to take over Java, of course. They'll take them from Burma. One, two, three. It's illegal. And let's see. They'll put their battleship there. And also their destroyer. And I'll put the cruiser in 38. All right, so, and I like BBR version. I got factor. Since I got factored, that's an instant railroad of 3 spaces. So I'm gonna railroad from India, from Calcutta, 1, 2, 3 to Malaya. As in the BBR, where that territory value coming from the factory, it's worth 3, so I can go up to 3, but I'm just using 1, so I'm gonna put it right there. And let's see what else I'm gonna do here. And move more troops into Burma. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, I'll do it that way. Yeah, why not? So I'll put my builds right now. A bomber in there, and my mech. And for the Anzacs. Actually, crap. I don't know why I did this. I'm going to put these guys here instead. Take that over right there. Mine, oh mine. Alright. I'm going to leave these ships in Java, of course. And why not just put this cruiser here? Alright. And so, what the Anzacs are going to do, Anzac part of the Far East Command, they're going to take the... Yeah, I should do it like this. They're going to take their transport. And 1, 2, 3, they'll take over Java. And I'll also put a let me see. Yeah, I'll put a destroyer there as well. All right. And with this cruisers in my version, if they're not attacking in a fifth assault matter of concerning picking up troops, they can pick up 1 troop non-combat wise, but only 1. That's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to pick. I got cruisers starting in 63. They're going to pick up a man here from New Zealand, and they're going to put him to. They're going to put him into Queensland. In fact, I'm going to put that destroyer. Leave it there. And so, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. You don't need a transport anymore to take it off. But a cruiser can only... Oh, no, I better not take it. I forgot what I'm going to do. I should put it over here. Right here. Because I got to upgrade my... cruiser. And it has to be off the factory coastal land of territory 3 or more. So I forgot to do that. But they're still going to pick up the infantry from New Zealand into South Wales. Because in the real war, the Japanese use the destroyers to carry their troops. So that's what I'm going to propose in my game. All the nations can do likewise with their cruisers as well. I'm an idiot. Idiot. That's a destroyer, idiot. Forget that. A destroyer is the one that carries... Crap. So the destroyer came from 54. I got confused. I'm sorry. Well, the destroyer can pick up. It's going to pick up a man and go into Queensland. Not the cruiser. The destroyer. The destroyer is that the one that hold 1 troop on their destroyer, on their ship. So the Japanese did it in the real war. So I'm going to propose it in my role concerning destroyers as well. And so the destroyer is going to go into New South Wales, and I can upgrade it. I'm going to put your own chip under to indicate it's a heavy cruiser, or use your own to scale cruiser, customize, do it, put a marker under there as well to indicate it's a heavy cruiser. So that'll be it. I'm going a half hour on this turn already. And so next up, for part 3 series, it'll be the US turn. And like I said, this is not a strategy video or even a solo game. It's just a tutorial concerning my proposed rule changes. And if you have any comments concerning this, what I'm proposing, you just put them in the comment section. I'll try to answer them like I did for Raider Built. Any relevant questions, of course. I'll just erase ridiculous questions if you want to give me a hard time. And if you want a download of my proposed rule changes, all of them, it's going to be, I'll give it to you. If you're comfortable enough to give me your email in the comment section, I'll send it to you. It's going to be over a 2,000 word manuscript on it. So it's quite a read. So I'll send it to you if you like. Or you can just look at the comment section of my first video. It'll show you all the rule changes there, if you like it to be that way. So stay tuned for part 3 of my series. I'll try to bring it out when I feel like it. So, now live it out.